A professional young man goes missing while travelling in Malaysia. The investigation is closed after 1 day. Why was Jordan in a construction site? And was he really partially unclothed?
Welcome to Vanished Voices UK, your new favourite spot for curious missing persons cases, true crime stories, and in-depth investigations.
The strange disappearance of Jordan Johnson Doyle, found at the bottom of a lift shaft. On the evening of the 27th of May 2025, 25-year-old British software engineer Jordan Johnson Doyle stepped out for a quiz night at Healy Mac's Irish Bar in Bangsar, an upscale suburb of Kuala Lumpur. Within hours, his mother Leanne Burnett received his customary photo update. Then, for the first time in 18 months of nearly daily check-ins, his messages went silent. Bangsar is a dynamic, well-connected suburb favoured by expats and visitors for its blend of urban convenience, cultural vibrancy, and relative safety. While not a tourist hotspot, it's a popular evening destination with strong social infrastructure. Obviously, crime exists, mainly in the form of minor theft, but remains relatively low, particularly in comparison to the more congested or economically disadvantaged areas of Kuala Lumpur. There does seem to be a warning for solo travellers, however, that suggests that they may be vulnerable after hours without local support. This environment provides context for Jordan's last known movements, a widely frequented nightlife district in a generally safe expat neighbourhood, which makes it all the more perplexing that he ended up in a secluded construction site. Jordan Johnson Doyle was a 25-year-old British software engineer from Southport, Merseyside. He was employed by a US technology company but worked entirely remotely, a setup that enabled him to combine his career with long-term travel. His mother, Leanne Burnett, told the Liverpool Echo that over the 18 months prior to his disappearance, Jordan had been backpacking solo across Asia, immersing himself in local cultures while keeping in regular touch with family back home. By all accounts, Jordan was an experienced traveller who balanced a demanding engineering role, writing code, attending virtual meetings and collaborating with teammates in different time zones, with the freedom of the open road. Friends describe him as methodical and self-reliant, traits he relied upon as he navigated busy cities and remote landscapes alike. Despite often being thousands of miles away, he maintained close relationships with his family. He phoned his mother almost daily and shared live location updates whenever he moved between countries. Growing up in Southport, Jordan had shown an early aptitude for computers and problem solving. After graduating with a degree in computer science, he secured a position with a US firm renowned for pioneering cloud-based applications. Unburdened by a fixed office, he spent spare weekends exploring new regions, from bustling metropolises to hidden rural trails, always carrying only a backpack and his laptop. This blend of technical skill and adventurous spirit defined Jordan's approach to life. On the evening of Tuesday, the 27th of May, Jordan Johnson Doyle visited Healy Mac's Irish Bar in Bangsar, Kuala Lumpur, his destination for a pub quiz night. At around 8 PM, he sent a photograph of the quiz poster to his best friend, marking his last confirmed sighting that night. Following that, his phone's location moved off bar premises to a nearby residential building, suggesting he left the pub shortly after 8 PM. Some reports also indicated that he may have visited The Social, which is another local bar. By Friday the 30th of May, contact ceased completely. His phone stopped pinging and he failed to respond to calls from family. a first during his 18-month travels. Concerned, his mother contacted his best friend and later alerted Malaysian authorities. The situation escalated quickly. On the 2nd of June, his father arrived in Kuala Lumpur and officially filed a missing person report. Malaysian police responded by launching a full-scale search concentrated around the Bangsar and Bukit Bintang districts. A canine unit and local teams scrutinised bars, streets and construction sites in the vicinity. On Wednesday afternoon, on the 4th of June, search teams discovered Jordan's body at the bottom of a flooded lift shaft within a nearby construction site. He was initially identified by a distinctive tattoo, and authorities reported that his body was lying face down, with most of his clothing missing. As previously mentioned, Jordan's body was found face down, mostly unclothed, in an elevator shaft. The identification of his body was made by his uncle, who recognised his tattoo. The autopsy ruled that his cause of death was chest trauma from a fall from height, and apparently there were no signs of foul play. His death was officially classified as sudden and non-criminal. The official line is that it was an accidental fall. Investigators found no evidence of foul play at the scene, and the UK Foreign Office confirmed there was no suspicion of a crime. The Malaysian police chief explicitly urged the public not to speculate, emphasising that the investigation had been conducted from all angles and welcomed anyone with information to come forward. It seems hard not to speculate when there is such a lack of information, and I would argue that there are many signs that this could have been foul play. On forums like Web Sleuths and Reddit, users expressed unease over several unexplained aspects. There was no public footage or eyewitness accounts of Jordan entering the construction site. Questions have been asked about potential access points and why an experienced traveller would find himself in a hazardous location such as a construction site. What could possibly have drawn him to that building? They question the circumstances leading to his phone dying days before his body was found. Web sleuths state, his phone went dead on Friday, May the 30th, 3 days after he was last seen. Redditors have also asked how the case is closed and no foul play has been found considering the strange place and state in which he was found. His body being found partially undressed seems to point to some sort of sexual activity. Maybe he had met someone there to have sex and fell, or maybe he met someone by chance who ordered him to undress. These posts reflect community concern and unanswered questions, but do not propose verified theories. While authorities have not found signs of foul play, public skepticism remains. Once the missing person report was filed on June the 2nd, investigators allegedly gathered CCTV, witness statements and site forensics. By June the 4th, they had located Jordan's body and conducted an on-scene examination. The post-mortem that afternoon confirmed chest trauma from a fall, and by the 5th of June the Kuala Lumpur police officially classified the case as a sudden, non-criminal death, effectively closing the investigation phase after 3 days of formal inquiry. It seems like the Malaysian authorities complete very quick investigations. Could that mean that they are not particularly thorough? From the UK side, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office confirmed that it is supporting Jordan's family and coordinating with Malaysian investigators. This seems to reinforce that there is no indication of suspicion or crime in the closing phase of the inquiry. The case remains closed as a non-criminal sudden death. No further investigation is publicly planned unless new information emerges. Authorities continue to welcome any credible leads, but after reviewing CCTV, eyewitness statements and site forensics, they have found no cause to reclassify the death. After reading about the extremely short investigation, it seemed important to have a look at how the authorities operate in Malaysia and to see if there were any ongoing issues. Some of the following information is quite concerning. In the 2024 Corruption Perceptions Index, Malaysia scored 50 out of 100, placing it 57th among 180 countries, a ranking that has stagnated for 2 years running. 71% of Malaysians believe that government corruption is a major problem, and 13% of public service users report paying a bribe in the past year. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission confirmed that 45 police officers were arrested for corruption and abuse of power between January and September 2024. 27 were charged in court and 13 convicted, a sobering illustration of graft within the force. And it's not just arrests. Bukit Aman's Integrity and Standards Compliance Department opened 1,597 disciplinary files and initiated 1,118 misconduct inquiries against officers in 2024. This is proof that internal oversight is intensifying, yet public trust remains fragile. Experts warn that low salaries, entrenched organisational culture, and political interference fuel petty graft and hamper professional standards within the Royal Malaysian Police. Transparency International Malaysia urges, moving forward, the government must accelerate institutional reforms to ensure transparency, accountability, and eliminate political interference in enforcement bodies. Could any of this information give clues as to why the investigation concluded just a single day after his body was found? Despite the official ruling of chest trauma from a fall, important questions remain unresolved. Questions that mirror the public's discomfort with how an experienced, cautious traveller could end up in a dangerous, unsecured spot late at night. How and why did Jordan access the construction site? Authorities have not explained how he entered the lift shaft, whether by climbing fences, unnoticed entry points, or assistance. If there is believed to be no foul play connected to his death, what was the reason he was there? Was he interested in construction? Could he have been led there for sexual purposes and had an accident or been pushed? Why was CCTV footage unavailable or unreleased? No public video shows Jordan's path from the bars to the site or into the shaft. The lack of surveillance or released footage leaves a vital gap in tracing his final steps. Again, if no foul play is suspected, why would Malaysian police not have shared his last movements from CCTV? Was he seen leaving the bar with someone? What happened between the 27th and 30th of May? His phone pinged near a residential building by the pub soon after the quiz night, then went silent on May the 30th. No confirmed location tracking exists for that critical 3-day window. Was his phone located? No reports suggest that his phone was found. Could it hold crucial information if it wasn't? Why was he found mostly unclothed? The South China Morning Post reported that he was lying face down with most of his clothes off. The police have not addressed this detail, and it's unclear whether this resulted from the fall, the water environment, or something else. As far as I can tell, this is a reliable source. Searches show that it is one of the most trusted news outlets in Hong Kong. The strange thing is, it seems to be the only source that discusses Jordan being unclothed. Could it be a misunderstanding, or is it an exclusive? How was the investigation concluded so quickly? Jordan was reported missing on the 2nd of June, and by the 4th he had been found. Only 1 day later, Malaysian authorities had closed the case as an accidental death. Can a thorough investigation really have been completed that quickly? Did they have much more evidence than they have discussed publicly? Surely they must do, to make such a speedy decision. Could a medical event have led to the fall? No public reports have confirmed or rejected a medical condition, such as dizziness, fainting, or possibly even intoxication, that might have caused him to fall unintentionally. Autopsy details are focused only on chest trauma. Were there any witnesses in the area between the bar and the construction site? 2 individuals gave statements to police, but no accounts placing them near the site have been shared. This absence adds to the uncertainty about his final movements. Although the post-mortem and police reports provide a definitive cause of death, they leave these key gaps unresolved. These unanswered questions fuel much of the public's lingering unease, and they form the core of theories that question whether this was truly a mundane accident. Jordan's passing began with a simple evening at a quiz night in Bangsar and ended far more tragically in an unexpected secluded place. Official conclusions support an accidental fall, yet the circumstances remain unsettling. The scene's unusual context, unanswered logistical questions, and the public's desire for clarity continue to echo. It seems quite surprising based on the available information that the Malaysian police were able to close Jordan's case so promptly. Maybe there is a lot more information about what happened than is being made publicly available. In the end, Jordan's case is officially closed, but his story and the questions surrounding it will stay with us. If there are any pieces of evidence that point to this being foul play, I hope the case is reopened and justice is brought against those who harmed Jordan. Rest in peace, Jordan Johnson Doyle. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and remember, every missing person deserves to be found. Like, comment and subscribe to see more new and cold missing persons cases from the UK.